Good day, my name is Mark Malloy. I'm an attorney here in Riverside, California. Got a number of clients in 29 Palms having financial difficulties like we all are in the Inland Empire here. And they're thinking about or considering the filing of bankruptcy to help protect them in this situation. So I thought it helpful to put together this video to go over with you some of the distinctions between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy if that's something you're looking into. The first thing we need to take a look at when we look at the distinctions between the two is the time frame in which a discharge can be obtained. With a Chapter 7, from the date of filing forward, you can usually have the discharge in bankruptcy from your creditor's debts within 90 to 120 days. In a Chapter 13, it's 3 to 5 years from the date of filing. So that's the first distinction in terms of time. It's much longer with a Chapter 13. You might ask why it takes so long. Well, the reason it takes so long is because you're repaying a portion of that debt back to the creditors in a Chapter 13 filing, whereas a Chapter 7 discharges all your debt. You might ask, well, why would I choose to repay the creditors if I can discharge all the debt? And that brings me to my third distinction, which is the repayment or the ability to qualify for a Chapter 7. You've got to qualify under what we call a means test. The means test looks at your California statutory median income, looks at the number of dependents and deductions you have from your income, and they remove those from it, and if your income falls below the statutory median income, you're available to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If not, you're relegated to a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and you've got to repay your creditors over a 3 to 5 year period a certain amount of money, depending on what the trustee finds, whether it's 3 to 5 years and how much of a repayment program you're under. The final distinction I would make for you is that of what we call lien stripping in bankruptcy, and that is a process by which we remove the second from your home or strip the second from an encumbrance against your property. How do we do that? Well, the first qualification is that the property must be valued underneath the value of the first, and in many cases out here in the Inland Empire, it is just that. We are 50% undervalued or more, and the property is encumbered by a first and second. Maybe you took out an 80-20 first and second situation when you purchased the home, and so the value of the home has gone below the value of the first encumbering the home. In that particular case, you can file a lien stripping motion to strip the second from your home. However, it's only available to you in a Chapter 13, not a Chapter 7. I've had a number of clients that have tried to do their own bankruptcies or had a paralegal do them where they paid them $300 to $500 to do them, took a shortcut. And unfortunately, they really ruined their chances to strip the second from the home in doing that because you can't strip the second from the home in a Chapter 7. It's only allowed in a Chapter 13, and that's if your property is valued underneath the value of the first, so there's no equity that could possibly go to the second. If that's the case, we can file a motion to strip, and after your repayment period, strip the second from the home. That may be an option for you. Anyway, those are some of the quick distinctions I wanted to make for filing bankruptcy. If you have your own facts or circumstances you'd like to discuss, or you have some assets that you'd like to protect and you're worried about putting into bankruptcy protection, feel free to give our office a call and set up an appointment. We'd be happy to sit down and speak with you about those.